So I still keep getting questions about BMA. What is BMA? All right, BMA right here. This is what they look like. It's a beam, and here's the floor integral floor, 9.5 inches. Look to the left. This is the floor, 9.5 inches. This is 9.5 inches. This is approximately 5.5 inches depth below the floor level, so that gives you your total beam depth by your width. You then can add your rebar and your stirrups in there to figure out what size beam you're looking at. What size beam are you looking at? Let's see, tab, there we go. That would look like this. This is a BMA. Comes across, goes up 9.5 inches and over. It's a substantial beam. It's a transfer beam for taking the loads of everything from the flower pots to the structures above. This is a substantial beam here. This is not a piece of joke beam. They did show some supporting going on, some work there. I can't find out where those supports are. That would be very critical in knowing that. We do have this, what you guys now call an H beam. The way it's all multiple beams, but you now call it an H beam, and I go along with that. You got to talk the dialect of whomever. You can see this one's even more substantial with a bit of an overhang, a cantilever coming off this column. Interesting. That would change the steel reinforcement for it to work, especially if they ran steel, another BMA into it. All right, I don't want to confuse you now. This is the BMA. This is exactly what it looks like, all right? So that is exactly what it looks like, what you're looking at. So here's the beam part of it. And then here's the floor part. The 9.5 inches. And the total would be, a good overlay. I'm being facetious. The total would be, it would look like that inside there. They're poured together concrete-wise. So it would look similar to, oh well, that's what it looks like in real life. You see, it just pours out. Now, the width of the column is not the same. As we see in this image here, we can see that the width of the beam is only 12 inches. The columns are 16, I believe, right? These are 16-inch columns, which show that, well, they did that about right. 16-inch columns, 12-inch, leaves you 4 inches on either, 2 inches on either side, 4 inches total. 12 and 4 is 16. I believe those are the 16 by 16 columns. So you're going to see that little bit of a gap right between the face of this one and the face of this. The plane of two different planes set back 2 inches, if you will. I'm using my word setback. Let's get rid of this for a moment. So this is your beam, your BMA. BMA? I don't get that. Why is it not BMTA? Well, they didn't have to use type BMA. Well, let's identify what's the abbreviation for beams. Okay. So the abbreviation for beams. Beams. Abbreviation for beam schedule is BM. Oh, okay. So BM is abbreviation for beam. Got it. BMA. So BM is beams. A would be the type. Oh, so that's a BMA right there. So we come over here and we see, oops, in front of the building. Oh, a BMA. Oh, that's BMA. That's integral, poured all together. One shot. That's that one there. Okay, got it. All right. Let's see now. Where's my other one? 160. So 162. So now 162. Trying to get to page 162. It's taking a while to get the document to move it. Okay, there we go. So then we're back to page 162 and dated 8/22/79. Doesn't matter. They changed this. But previously, the architect even specified the BMA to continue all the way down. There's a BMA there, and there's a BMA there to transfer the loads for the parking garage at 2 different levels. This is critical, guys, that the 1010 and the 1110 did not change the height of the building. I saw that in the comments. Sorry, Joe, for being so aggressive. But it did not change the height of the building. You're misunderstanding whatever you're getting your data from. You know, I don't get it. So I do get it, but I don't get why confuse yourself. 1110, this deck came up to 11 foot 10 inches. That's the ultimate change. It pushed the deck up to 11 foot 10. Here it is right here in the structural plans. It pushed the deck up to 11 foot 10. They're the originals, 822.79, and there's a change of column type only. Very interesting. The structural plans and architectural plans, the architectural plans have the BMA in the same time. These guys are hand in glove working with each other. The same time, 822.79, the structural guy removes the beam. The same time, 822.79. Oh, wait a minute. That is the structural guy. Oh, I'm confused here. So the structural guy puts plans in showing a beam, and at the same date, he puts plans in showing, this is important right here, showing that he changed only column type. Change of column type, revision on January 17th. In that revision, he slips in, I believe, because it's the plans, that he slips in the removal of the beam. The BMA here, here, and here. But yet he said, look over here like a magician. Look over here. I've only changed of column type 1. And it's interesting. You guys got to find what column type 1 is. And you'll see how late in the game this column type 1 change is. I've already found it. I've already done a video on it. It's just sitting there waiting. I want somebody to comment first to tell me this column type, what this column type 1 is. I've said it a few times now. You guys, a few of you are starting to call me Columbo, so you know what? I'm just going to stick with that personality type, and I'm going to stick with the way I do it. So I've given you the clues just like Columbo would do. You've got the clues here. On January 17th, this tells a lot about something that's so critical to this build. Put it together. It's the late date, 1/17/80, change of column type. It's a very late date. The building went into service, I think, in late 1980. So did they build this whole building in 1 year and weeks? This is your one of your important column types here. This is very important. You guys just do a little. I guess you're gonna leave me to do it, but I'll give you the hint now. The people that can't do it, you just gotta wait. The people that want to try to do it, just find it. All right, just find this and then put together the date and timeline and start going. Wait a minute, how can you change the column type now? Unless it was already changed, and then they changed it in the structural plans, which is actually fair game. Since this is the engineer signing off on it, it seems like the municipality is not. So basically, he can do his change order and makes it like a new as-built, and so it's fair game. But it shows what was going on. Specifically, this change of column type written here on the revisions. It says here, but the revision really includes removing the BMA. It really includes removing the BMA. The BMA, if you look at it, is the same thickness as the deck. The deck is 9.5 inches, the slab, 9.5 inches. This is at the lower level. This is at the deck level. This is not up in the building somewhere. This is at the parking garage floor level, pool deck level. 9.5 inches here, add an additional 5.5 inches to the depth, and what do you get? Right? What do you get? 15-inch total depth from the top down to here. 5.5 inches. This is only 12 inches wide. Our columns are 16 by 16. That gives you your 2 inches on each side to give you 12. 12, 5, 2, nope, no, 4, 16, 12, 16, 2 inches on each side. So we have our 16 by 16 inch columns, and that would look like, where are you zooming out? There we go. Here's your BMA right here. This little lady going over here. This is your H-beam over here, you guys call it now. It's a combination of a BM34, a 35, and a 33. Keep in mind that the size of these matters. Size matters. So the 35 and 33, these are transfer beams taking on a load. So 33, the real intent is just probably this guy right here, number 35. But we see 35 sitting there. 35 is very interesting. This location right here, because it appears to be some material on the ground behind it. This whole thing laying here, I wish we'd seen how they got it in that position. Even though it's a secondary part of the collapse of the building, it's critical to me because I use that word secondary because remember, I'm only here in my video this far off as M. I could be off and it could be in, which would tear this apart if it was part of the original failure. So that's my removal or debunking myself. I would say, well, if it pulled on here, it would tear this apart. We have this laying on the ground in many videos now. I got to plug the computer up. It's not torn apart. So if it's not torn apart, rotated even, it looks just like when we can then extrapolate that it wasn't tugging on that point. So we put our tugging, so it's like we can eliminate, in my mind, biasly so, because of what I just explained to you, that we can eliminate this column as the one being tugged on. It goes back to here, or here is our main tuggers. Now, I've got other ways to get there from here. I showed you how I can do a line here, tug on this one. So I showed you this, didn't I? I want you to use that your coconuts. And I showed you how I can get there from here. Perfect. And you see they're about center line because there's my little dot. And I just had to move it a little bit. If you get the collapsing here, I'm gonna move it out, but I'm gonna move this out. But right now I want to show you what happens if I tug on the middle one only. Well, it pulls down, but it's not for free. This has to come, if it pulls that, it pulls this in. If it pulls this in, it could then start wanting to what? Shift this whole building? No, it's too much of a slab. It would shear apart at that point. And we still have let me do this. Let me give you something to think about here. We still have somewhere about here, let's call it. So this should be biased because this could go all the way up to here, in fact. In fact, it can go onto the ramp even. That's the ramp. So this range, it's a range of where we see the edge of that edge represents as an edge of a slab that fell down. So we'll make it thin for you to help you visualize or think thin. So it's a range. It could be on a ramp. It could be right back here by the column. It could be between here. This is compression. It could throw us off. It could be here, and it could make it look like it's here by compression of the lens. She zoomed in with that camera. It's interesting. If she could find another garage and we could zoom in, we could see and put a person standing here and use that camera. If you can figure out what camera she has and we can figure out her distance, I think we can try and figure that out. And we figure out what camera she shot it from, what kind of camera, and which one. We would know what lens is on it to be able to figure out the compression, how much it pulls from the background, pulling it forward. How much does it pull it forward? Now, it doesn't pull it forward beyond what's in front of it. It compresses it, making it look like it's close. I believe we see that column here, and this together. When we see those together, I state that in reality, that would put that back here. Because the zoom's going to have some compression, some pulling in effect. It's not going to be one-to-one. She zooms in and it's there. Now, that's a pixel thing. It's nighttime. I don't know that camera. You really got to know that camera to know how it's going to behave. Let's put it back out here. The BMAs, right? There's the BMA right there. BMA by my hand. A couple of you guys want me to change my mouse. I can't change the friggin' mouse. I tried. It gives me this paw and it gives me an arrow. I tried. They did an update and I can't. It seems like mice weren't part of the updates. All right, I can't pull on this for free without fracturing the deck. If this stays at this point and this stays at this point, we start getting ripping down, tearing of the reinforcement. Keep in mind that there's some transverse members in here that go across right here and here. They would act as a way of shear plane to break the concrete, and the rebar would drape down and it wouldn't pull as much over there. Oh, wait a minute, that's a deck elevation change. It is not a beam going across. Let's get you there. So, all right, move this one out of the way. Come on. So you see that there is no beam going across. It's a deck elevation change above here. It goes up to, what, 2'9" or something? I don't know. They changed it so many times. But it's a higher deck where they come out on their porch, if you will, and then they have to step down to get onto the pool deck patio. The people in 111, I believe it is. So this is actually a step 1 foot. You see it? It's actually a step up, not a step down. And that gives you to the 12'9". Let's see if I got that. Yeah, this is the finished deck because there's 1'6". So you step up to the deck. So this is just more concrete up there over this area here. So all I need to do is to start tugging on this lady right here, or tugging. Well, our tugging is thereabouts this plane here. I can go somewhere about here. Remember, he witnessed the pool deck collapse. I think there's a secondary break that happens, that he witnesses it. It doesn't tear him off the damn deck. He witnesses it. So it stopped somewhere, and I don't know where it stopped. I'm gonna drape it. There's the friggin' parking garage right here. He sees the cars go down. He's so close. I mean, he's so close. He's like right here. And then he sees the pool deck failure, right? So he's watching those planters. That planter box is right about here. It's right up on him, right? It's right there. But it doesn't make it over to him yet. He sees the pool deck area collapse over here. He sees the pool deck collapse area over here. It does not get to him yet. But at the same time, so their mom, they run out, she runs over there, looks, she hears the bang from this direction. She didn't go here. She heard the bang from this way. Mom goes this way. She looks out. She sees the cars going, or looks that way, whatever. She then runs back down the hallway, as I understand it, right? Went into the room. Oops. Delete that one. The hallway is right about here somewhere. I think above these beams right here, roughly. She runs into the room there. Yo, what's up? Robe girl, the daughter. Robe girl, I need to get dressed. I might meet my paparazzi might be out there and see me. I can't have them see me like this. Get your ass on, let's go. But she also has another story where she stakes them frozen on the deck. So does she go all the way out? The question is then, does she go in? It seems like she met him at the door. Is this the door she met him at? She went through the hallway and she met him at this door out on the balcony. Nevertheless, they jet. They don't go this way. They jet back out through the lobbies, I understand. Yo, can I get the address to this joint? Yeah, thank you. She writes it down. Remember, she's very confused. The writing down thing is very interesting, too. Remember, she had to write it down? Well, she must have paper and pencil there because she didn't have it outside. Remember, the fire department lady said, you got a pad. Nobody had it. So she didn't write down the address on her phone. So she wrote it down at the desk there, at the front desk, to call the 911. Then they left. I mean, how many people carrying paper and pad, right? Come on. Even the fire department lady didn't carry it. She's upset with everybody else for not having paper and pad. The paper and pad is not used anymore with a lot of police departments because they can be subpoenaed for referencing notes. If you reference them, you can't reference your. If you reference your notes, they can subpoena the notes and they get to look at them. So they go off with this document and that's it. Here's the document as I recollect. So that's why they got rid of that paper and pad thing. A lot of these apartments did. All right, so frankly, they're not needed anymore. They changed the narrative is whatever the narrative is. So then they jet. But then this is break number one, right? So this is break number one, which ties in over here is number one. So this is break number one also. Great. So I believe these are break number one. Both of these together, just visually he sees the cars go down. So now we have him still on the deck or out here. Either way, Mama comes in there, Robe Girl and Betty Crocker. They got to leave. He takes his pies out the oven, turns it off, and leaves. Anyway, and somehow she winds up in clothes as a tenant clothed, new, different clothing that looks like roughly fitting her around 10 o'clock at night. I don't know who gave her clothes because she makes it sound like she left with the robe on. That's a timeline, though. That's a freeze. This is the time that allows lady over here in 6'11", model chick, right? Let's call her model chick to, I think it's 6'11", to model her to get hold of that husband and say, yo, check this out, man. I think I see a sinkhole, right? And so everybody talks about the sinkhole based on model chick and the witness statements, and then also being floored. So I get the videos on that, on the comments on that. I look for the sinkhole. I'm like, oh shit, that does look like a sinkhole. Then instantly I'm like, nope, it's punk shear. But I see it around here. It's not sinkhole. So model chick makes the phone call. Other people jet out the building. Again, I would have been dead. I'd have been evaluating the structure from up there too. I wouldn't have seen that. Now, in another video, you guys don't see it. I talk about during this delay, before when she's making her phone call, that the secondary break, the column, possibly this column here, was made weak and a shifting motion towards this direction. And that shifting motion, that crippling, that buckling of the shifting of it, because we have a force that can pull it, and it pulls down over this BMA. Let's say we pull my famous M. This is my M, I believe, my bias M. It pulls that. It pulls the slab free. It's controlled. Let's say it's a construction joint inside there. So a construction joint, right? Because we found one in the pool deck area, and so we have this construction joint. That's concrete. It fits in there. When this pulls, it pulls this construction joint. Watch this, guys. You'll like this. We get to enter some sexual stuff again. We can't miss that opportunity. Really? We're going to miss this opportunity. Okay, there we go. We get this construction joint right inside there. And then it gets tugged on over here, releases, and drops down. Now that might not be a construction joint, but I think so because it's too clean. It's not a mid fracture. That edge we're looking at, whatever it is too clean. So that joint doesn't present with the male connection here. It presents probably more with the female connection like this. And so the female side of it have premature release. It just continues on. So then as it pulls away, it only has to pull away a little bit. No longer supported. And it drops down. Wait a minute, no longer supported. So isn't it supported on the edges by rebar and reinforcement? Is it not supported by rebar and reinforcement? Everybody's got a slab magically dropping down. But we have rebar and reinforcement holding it thereabouts in two directions. So what are we really looking at? What are we really looking at when we see that right there? Well, there is a really? I was trying to transition for you guys, and I wanted to leave this as a riddle video because I like my riddles. But what are we looking at? Here's a column here. Here's the wall there for the elevated, the stairwells. But we have reinforcement, guys. We've got reinforcement left and right. We've got reinforcement everywhere here. How does everyone have this deck magically, and I call it pixie dust, falling down and everybody seeing it? That would be that would be your first floor looking like this. Watch this. So your first floor would have to look like, and I'm going to stop there, come across, and come back up. And put that like that. So you would be looking at this right here as you look down this ramp. This is the ramp. You'd be looking at that. And that means we have a drape failure, a drape from each side, like you see at the parking garage. And you're looking at the flat sections here. And we have some first floor collapsing in this drape capacity to be able to look down this ramp. Now, I know I hold out on you guys with things like this. I did a video on that earlier because I like to see somebody catch it. I know other engineers are watching my channel. I like to see them catch my mistake, my mistake on purpose. But then I see them doing videos just having, okay, this slab falls down right here. I watch one after another. The English guy, Josh guy, the tool guy. Everybody's just got this thing dropping down by itself. I'm like, wow. So you guys really don't do any field work at all. You have no concept of seeing how of true behaviors of materials in real life. There is steel inside here. It just didn't just shear the steel away, did it? Did it just shear the steel away? Well, show me how it can do that, because this steel continues all the way over. A drape had to take place. I did my video on that. I so look forward to people like the lady in the last video who said, when I put that column up, the one in with the pool deck, with the deck and the column, and she said, oh, that's like the columns at the building. Oh, I was so in love when I heard her say that. Oh, I was so in love. I just loved it that she could extrapolate. Yes, now you're getting it. If the deck hinges down, it's not for free. The column will experience a reaction. This is all connected. You just can't have anything not for free. You get nothing for free. You get nothing for free. You just don't have that dropping down. Everyone's got it getting it for free. It's drapes. All right. Did my video on this. I was so hoping somebody would say something. And that's when I go back at it a few times saying, yeah. Everybody's saying it's pixie dust and it's furniture and it's flower pots down there. Yeah, well, that would imply that punk shear took place and a shearing action took place here, but we have reinforcement going across there that would counter that statement. I have more to give you about this drape. Being cagey with my drape. Being very cagey with my drape. I'm going to end the video with my cagey drape. I'm sorry. I'm going back. I can't help it. I can't help the riddles. Because I want you guys to stretch that brain. Bye.